How do? Saturday. Cheeky little vlog. I know a lot of you don't have a lot of time at weekends. I'm going to keep this one quite short, but very much to the point. Let's talk about the current state, excuse me guys, of the prison service right now. For months I've been saying, and it's not me going, look at me, I'm right. It was obvious this was going to happen. Pre-pandemic, prisoners were locked up pretty much 23 hours a day due to staff shortages. Pandemic has been accepted pretty much countrywide. You know, masks, restrictions and the like, prisons being the same, care homes, everything. So we're going to go back just very quickly, but in an informative way. I'm going to go back to around 2012, 2013. Bear in mind, since the millennium, government, prison service, whatever, they all piss in the same pot, have been working towards reducing staff, terms, conditions, everything. Yeah, so there'd already, some stuff had come in. 2012, 2013, we had VEDS, voluntary early retirement, got rid of a lot of experienced staff on the 30 grand a year. Round about that time, workforce modernisation and benchmarking come in. Those two terms, you could look them up, but you don't need to know what they are. It's about reducing staff, yeah? I'm going to go back to the supermarket. Worldwide we have supermarkets, don't we? And this is the easiest way. How rude. Easiest way to explain benchmarking and workforce modernisation. Take any supermarket globally, yeah? Quiet periods, middle of the summer, Wednesday afternoon, very quiet. You're going to have a limited amount of staff. Christmas time, wow. We know what Christmas time's like in this country. Crazy, car parks are full, big queues, people going mad. Crazy, crazy shopping at Christmas in supermarkets. However, supermarkets are in a position where they can bring extra staff in. Extra staff on the tills, clothing, meat, pizzas and the like. So what we're going to say with the supermarket is Christmas is an incident. Yeah? They don't need all them people all year round, but those people are there to call on if you need them. So the prison service. Yep, someone decided that the prison service is very much like a supermarket Wednesday afternoon in the summer. There's extra staff about that you don't need. Which, in any other industry, engineering I worked in, you know, you'd only have as many staff as you needed. However, the prison service, prison system, prisons are different because you get incidents, yeah? And when you have an incident, that requires more staff. So when people say prisons were overstaffed, they had enough staff. They had extra staff, yeah? But those staff were in offices and the like. They were there or thereabouts. And when there was an incident, you could call on them staff. Yeah? And you need that because there was incidents. Could be incidents any time, every day, twice a day. Incidents used to suck staff up. You know, if you had an incident on K-Wing, that might be 6 staff out of action. You need to replace them. So what workforce modernisation did, benchmarking, it removed them extra staff. So basically, a prison, all prisons, Stevie, all prisons were running on bare staff. Yeah, on paper, enough staff. You've got enough staff for that wing, the healthcare, enough staff for visits. Yeah, it's all sorted, all boxed off. Bam, there's an incident, you're short. And that's what benchmarking and workforce modernisation did. They got rid of staff. Strangeways was approximately 85 staff short. February 28th, 2015, March the 1st, 24 hours later, I was told by a manager that we actually had 12 staff more than we needed to operate the prison. Nobody was made redundant, but those 80 odd staff that we were short, yeah, they did away with them. They weren't going to be replaced. But not only that, we got 12 staff too many. Day one, March the 1st, chaos, short-staffed. And for my last 6 months, short-staffed, and every other prison short-staffed. Some prisons, I believe Hull was one of them, the governor went, I'm not doing this. He introduced more staff. I don't know how he did that. I don't know whether he paid a penalty, but there weren't enough staff. And that's when it started, that. People getting injured, stress, people going off, long-term sick. Thousands of prison officers have left the job on the sick, including me. I got injured. Those of you who don't know, the injury would have taken probably 9 months to heal. During that time, I went cuckoo, crazy, lost it mentally, became very unwell. So, recruitment drive. Again, I won't go into massive detail, but right now the prison service is just continually recruiting, training. People are continually leaving, people are continually getting the sack. Now we come to my favourite, dynamic security. For those of you who might not know, again, dynamic security is staff prisoner relationships. Yeah, it's what made it safe. So I look at my time during Strangeways, particularly on K-Wing when we used to have association. That's all the prisoners out. Yeah, you built relationships. I had a relationship with every prisoner on that wing. I knew them all by name, you knew what cell they were in, you knew who you had to watch, you knew the pad thieves, you knew the bullies, you knew the lads who'd just give you a nod if something were going to go down to prevent it so they didn't get banged up. Dynamic security, it happened all over the jail. I knew prisoners all over the jail. If I went down to D wing at weekend or B wing or A wing, and it were boring at weekends because you'd open all the prisons up and staff would disappear, you'd find yourself on your own on a landing. Oh yeah, ladder off K wing, go and have a chat, go and have a chat. I just spend all day chatting to prisoners, yeah? So that's your dynamic security. It makes it a safe place. Yeah, when prisoners come out of a cell, they come back into prison and they're looking, Mr. S, can you sort me this out? You know, that sort of thing. You understand what it is. There's none of that now. There's no dynamic security. People have been banged up for 2 years. Yeah, so nobody knows anyone. Big turnover of staff, all new staff. You learn how to deal with prisoners when you are on association. You see how other staff react and interact. You see what happens at incidents. You know, you see how everything runs and works. That's where you learn your job. All the people who've joined the last 2 years, all they've done is task orientated prison officer work. Go here, unlock them. Go there, do this. Never had association, yeah? So there's no staff-prisoner relationships. They don't know the prisoners. You know, they might be on this wing one day, that wing the next day. They know nobody. They probably don't even know all the staff or managers, governors, senior officers, principal officers. So there's no dynamic security. So the POA, Prison Officers Association, and Robert Buckland, yeah? MP, prison service, whatever. Recent articles. We didn't need the articles. We already knew what was going to happen. Figures are down, some figures. Assaults. Yeah, the figures have gone down the last 2 years. Why have they gone down? They've gone down because people are being locked up. Very difficult to assault someone when you're locked up. You could assault your pad mate if you've got one. A lot more single cells now. But what people are doing is they're looking at these figures now and they're thinking, you know what, we're not going back to association. They don't call it, they're not talking about association now when prisoners are out. They're calling it mass association. See what they've done there? Yeah. No more mass association. Mr. Bertie Bassett didn't come on the landing on K-Wing, yeah, and shout, mass association. It was association. There were 200 prisoners, there was a lot of them. So they're going to be getting away from that. The POA, Prison Officers Association, who are supposed to care about prison officers, they'll support that 23-hour bang up. Robert Buckland, what they're saying is, except for purposeful activity like work and education. I'll come back to them. Now here's the thing, POA, if you really do care about prison officers, yeah, you would care about what's happening with prisoners. Because prisoners, if you bang them up 23 hours a day like they have been for the last 2 years, it's going to be boiling. No dynamic security, no prison staff relationships, yeah? There's going to be violence. And at some point, there'll be mutinies. They'll kick off, smash prisons up and the like. But the POA aren't bothered about that. They'd be quite happy if prisoners were locked up 24 hours a day, yeah? Resettlement, rehabilitation, you know my thoughts on that in prison. People can change, yeah, but we didn't rehabilitate anybody. Purposeful activity, let's go back to that, yeah. Work, they talk about work, a lot of it's not purposeful. Mind numbing jobs, that's not helping nobody. Education, basic key 1, key 2 level skills education. I know people, I know a very good man who's been in and out of prison most of his life, who's working towards helping probation sort their problems out and prison education. However, what people need, yeah, if somebody wants education, that's all fine and dandy. They need help when they get out of prison. Purposeful activity inside and help when they get out. Plenty of prisoners, I know, they had skills. You know, they had a trade. They still struggled to get jobs when they come out because they've been in prison. Yeah? Plenty of prisoners left prison with degrees. Still not got paid work. It's a tough one. But banging people up 40 years ago, like they used to, yeah, us and them, quite definitely. You get your bullies and that, both sides. Don't work. Not only that, now you ain't got the staff. K-Wing back in the day, I don't know exactly, but 30 years ago, 40 years ago, might have had 30 staff. 3 senior officers, 2 senior officers, I don't know. Not now. Not as many staff. A lot of young staff, inexperienced staff, new staff. So dynamic security, there's none. And it doesn't look to me like any sort of regime in prison is wanted by anyone. Yeah? So it's watch this space, guys. Let's see what happens, shall we? But there's no more mass association. It worked well at Strangeways. I enjoyed my time. I might not vlog about that or talk about it a lot. I enjoyed most of my time on K-Wing. I did a lot of overtime on other wings. I enjoyed it. You know, people out interacting all day. Time used to go. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time on healthcare. Stressful, yeah. Some of it comes back to haunt you, but I enjoyed a lot of my time. Okay, guys. Hope you have the best weekend possible. Email realporridge@outlook.com. I'm just going to finish off with one of my sort of wishes or thoughts. I'm thinking I know a lot of people now are unwell. And I know people who are unwell who are super helpful and maybe could help other people. Maybe have a directory of people I know so that, you know, if you're borderline personality disorder and there's a young lass here who has just been diagnosed or, you know, is currently undergoing mental health assessment, you've lived it for 20 years, maybe you could talk to her and help her, that sort of thing. It's just a bit of a whim, a thought, just putting people in touch with people who've got a time, maybe a couple hours a week, just to speak to them or text them or ask them how they are. Okay guys, parting shot as always. Thanks for coming. Al City.